Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and in today's bass guitar lesson I'm going to show you how to play the legendary Van Morrison song Brown Eyed Girl without any tab, and also show you how to break it down into 3 simple chord ideas. If that sounds good, make sure you check this lesson out all the way to the end. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and today I want to show you how to play the legendary Van Morrison song Brown Eyed Girl without using any tablature whatsoever. Now, first of all, don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-tab whatsoever, but there are some limitations to it. So what I want to do is show you how to break this down into 3 core ideas today. So the first idea I'm going to show you today is how to break this down into 2 simple chord sequences that run pretty much throughout the whole of this song. The second idea is I'm going to show you a simple groove that works pretty much across the whole song too. And lastly, idea 3 is I'm going to show you a simple bassline creation formula so you can start improvising and jamming your own bass lines. Just before we hit the lesson content, I want you to know that there is a completely free PDF that comes with this lesson. It's going to show you all of the examples and ideas written down today, and also give you my personal chart for Brown Eyed Girl so you can see everything written out from beginning to end. Also, if you want more help with your bass guitar playing, make sure you jump over to eBassGuitar.com and grab the free 14-day trial for the Bass Lab Plus. The Bass Lab Plus is an end-to-end program designed especially for beginner to intermediate bass guitar players who really want to push their bass playing forward. There is a link for that in the description below. So you may be wondering, if we're not going to use tab, how on earth do we go about working out the chord sequences? Well, the beautiful thing about Brown Eyed Girl is it's all in the key of G major. So first of all, let's play the G major scale, because every single note is going to relate directly back to that one chord scale. So let's play it through. We're going to have a G, an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, an F sharp, and a G. So those are the 7 notes that we are going to be using to create all of our bass lines and chord sequences today. So the first thing I like to do is try and spot a common chord sequence that is running throughout the whole of this song. And there is that chord sequence which is in there right away. And that is the chord sequence from G to C to G to D, like that. If you know the Nashville number system, you might want to think of that as chord 1, up to chord 4, back to chord 1, and back to chord 5, like that. And knowing that one chord sequence will enable you to play 75% of this song straight away, because this is the chord sequence for the verse and the chorus. So now that we know that chord sequence is running throughout the whole of this song, we need a groove to put to it. And there's a very simple groove that we can grab straight away, and I'm going to simplify it down to begin with and then gradually get it a little bit more complicated as we go through the lesson. The groove goes just like this. So bum gum dum gum bum gum bum gum, and all that is a quarter note on beat 1, and then an 8th note rest, and then an 8th note on beat 2, and so bum gum. So that second note is pushed just before the 3rd beat. So bum gum dum gum bum gum bum. Just knowing those 2 things, the chord sequence and the basic groove, will enable you to play the vast majority of this song. So let me demonstrate this with the backing track. So let's move on to part 2 now. The other main chord sequence that we find in this lesson is the bridge or the pre-chorus. Either name is absolutely fine for this, and the first time they play this in the song, it's 8 bars long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through that chord sequence now. So it starts off on a C, and then goes to a D, and then goes to the G. I'd recommend playing the G up the octave there, like that. And then we add in another chord. So far, we've only used 3 chords, which is chord 1, chord 4, and chord 5. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in chord 6, which is the next most common chord that you'll find in any pop or rock chord progression typically. So we start off with the C, to the D, to the G, then to E minor here, that's chord 6, and then we go to chord 4 again, to chord 5, to chord 1, and then to chord 5. So let's play that through again. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, chord 1, G, E minor, chord 4, chord 5, chord 1, chord 5, like that. And that is an 8-bar chord sequence. The next time is played the second time in the tune. They actually extend it into a 10-bar chord sequence. If you download my chord chart that comes with this lesson, you'll see that written out so you can see exactly how it falls. So that is the 8-bar chord sequence which makes up the bridge. But what I want to do now is just add in a couple of extra notes into the groove. So let me play it to you to begin with so you know what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go. So what I'm doing is I'm adding 2 notes at the end of each bar. So let's break this down. We have the first groove that we've discussed already, which is this, bum, gum, which is pushed just before the third beat of it. Dum, gum. Then what we do is we add in another offbeat 8th note on beat 3 and, so we get this, like that, like that. And then we land on beat 4 of the bar. Dum, gum, ba, dum, bum, gum, ba, dum. So we are playing notes on beat 3 and then directly on beat 4. So bum, gum, ba, dum, bum, gum, ba, ba. And always get that note to line up with your foot on the 4th beat of the bar if you're tapping your foot to help you keep time. So let me play you that with this slightly more complex groove over the chord sequence for the bridge or the pre-chorus, depending what you call it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. So let's try that with the backing track so you can hear what that sounds like in context. So guys, if you're enjoying this lesson, make sure you jump over to eBassGuitar.com and check out the Bass Lab Plus. There is a full training program there designed especially for the beginner to intermediate bass player, where we go through songs just like this every month in our live song analysis workshop. We also cover topics such as a bass line theory and how to go about creating bass lines, which we're going to be covering in the rest of this lesson today, and also how to create effective practice routines so you get the most out of your practice time. There is a free 14-day trial. Just head over to eBassGuitar.com, or there is a link in the description below. So I played this song literally hundreds upon hundreds of times here in the UK as a professional bass player, and these three core ideas that I'm sharing today really are the way that I conceive and simplify this song so I can pull it out at a moment's notice. So far we've covered the two basic chord sequences which run through the whole of this song, and we've talked about how to create a basic groove that will work across the whole of this track. Now we want to start adding some variation and some improvisation and some jamming into our bass lines to make them that little bit more interesting. To do this, I'm going to show you a very simple bass line creation formula that I call the two-note scale approach. If you like this idea, make sure you check out the Rock, Pop and Motown bass line creation course, where there's a whole course on this topic over in the Bass Lab Plus over at eBassGuitar. What I need to do is introduce you to the idea of target notes. To demonstrate this, we are going to use the chord sequence from the verse. So let's just recap on that. We have a bar of G, and then a bar of C, and then a bar of G, which I'm going to place up the octave like that, and then a bar of D. And that is our 4-bar chord sequence going round. So if we are on the first chord, the G, our target note is going to be the C like this. And we are going to use the two-note scalic approach to get to that C chord. So we're going to take this from the G major scale. Let's just go up the G major scale again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp and G. And we're going to use two notes from the scale to approach our target note. So if our target note is C like this, all we need to do is literally count down two notes. So C, B, A, like those. So our two approach notes are just going to be an A, a B, and a C like that. So what we're going to do with the groove is we're going to leave the first two notes the same, dum, dum, which is why I split the groove into two sections earlier in the lesson. And then we're going to use the last two notes as our sort of transition notes to get to our target note. So we're going to end up with this bass line. Bum, gum. Like that. So it works really nicely, and it literally just actually in this context goes directly up the scale. Now our next target note is the G up the octave like that. So to get the two transition notes, all we need to do is go down two notes of the scale. So we're going to go G, F sharp, E. We're going to leave the first two notes of the groove the same. And then we have our two transition notes, like that, or approach notes, you can call them the same thing, to get to our target note. So let me just play that to you. Dum. Like that. So you can hear that is a really nice melodic sound. I'm going to put those two bars together for you so you can hear what this sounds like when we start building this up. Like that. And then our next target note is the D, like that. So we want to go. So we're going to go to the target note there, and then we're just going to count down two notes from the G major scale, which is going to be the D, the C, and the B. So let's play all three bars together. And then our next target note is actually our first chord again, which is the G there at the 3rd fret. And we just need to go down two notes of the G major scale. So we're going to go G, F sharp, E, and those are our notes that we can get to our target note. So boom, like that. So let me put those whole 4 bars together so you can hear what they sound like. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Just before I now play this with the backing track, I also want to put an idea in your head. As well as approaching from below, you can also do this from above using exactly the same concepts too. I'm going to write this out in the free PDF workbook that comes with this lesson over at eBassGuitar. Link in the description below so you can see this written out. But I would encourage you to try and figure this out yourself. So I'm just going to play it to you so you can hear how this sounds. Now, the magic really starts happening when we start mixing these two ideas up. So sometimes we will approach from below, sometimes we will approach from above. And this is where the individuality and improvisation of individual bass players starts to come into play, and you can start really making your own choices on this stuff. So what I'm going to do to finish off this lesson is I'm going to play you both of these two-note transitions, the two-note scalic transition or approach from below, and I'm going to play it from above, and then I'm going to mix it up so you can hear how this sounds. So guys, that's the end of today's bass guitar lesson. Make sure you grab the free PDF workbook that comes with this lesson. There's a link in the description below. And make sure you also jump over to eBassGuitar.com to grab your free 14-day trial for the Bass Lab Plus membership. Cheers, I've been James from eBassGuitar, and I'll catch you next time.